There are men in history who stole gold, men who stole land, men who stole armies, but only one man in the entire history of humanity stole something that had never been stolen before. He stole a country, not by force, not by war, not by bloodshed, he simply invented one. And the entire world believed him. His name was Gregor MacGregor. And what he pulled off in the 1820s was so insane, so perfectly executed, that historians still struggle to explain how one man fooled an entire empire. This is that story. Gregor MacGregor was born in Scotland in 1786. From the very beginning, he wanted one thing above everything else: power, respect, greatness. At just 16 years old, he joined the British Army. Not because he loved his country, but because the army was the fastest road to status, titles, and wealth. He was smart, charming, dangerously persuasive, and he had a gift that very few humans in history have ever possessed. The gift of making people believe absolutely anything he said. He married into one of Britain's most powerful families. He bought his own military promotion. He traveled to South America and fought alongside Simón Bolívar in Venezuela's War of Independence, earning the rank of general. But here's where it gets dark. MacGregor came back to Britain with nothing. No fortune, no real glory, just a title, a uniform, and a mind that never stopped calculating. So he made a decision that changed history. He decided to create a country. Not on paper, not as a joke, a real country, with a flag, a currency, a constitution, a capital city, maps, a 355-page guidebook, and a king, himself. He called it Poyais. Located on the Mosquito Coast of Honduras, Poyais was, according to MacGregor, a paradise. Fertile land, perfect weather, a beautiful port city called Street Joseph, wide boulevards, mansions, an opera house, a booming economy just waiting for the right settlers. He dressed the part. He walked into London's most elite circles wearing the uniform of a prince. He called himself the Cazique of Poyais, meaning its sovereign ruler. The British aristocracy fell in love with him. Businessmen, generals, government officials, they all wanted a piece of Poyais. And then, MacGregor made his move. He issued government bonds, official Poyais bonds. Investors lined up to buy them. In just 1 year, MacGregor raised £200,000, the equivalent of over $30 million today. But bonds were just the beginning. He began selling land in Poyais. Hundreds of acres for almost nothing. Doctors, farmers, teachers, retired couples, ordinary people who wanted a fresh start. They sold everything they owned and bought their piece of paradise. Before they boarded the ships, MacGregor met them personally at the docks. Shook their hands, wished them well, and exchanged their British pounds for official Poyais currency, which he had printed himself. 70,000 fake bills. Worthless paper with his face on it. The first ship sailed in autumn 1822. 250 men, women, and children crossed the Atlantic full of hope. When they finally reached the coast of Honduras, there was nothing. No port, no city, no boulevards, no opera house, just jungle. Dense, dark, suffocating jungle. And mosquitoes. Millions of them. The settlers couldn't believe it. There must be a mistake. Surely the city was further along the coast. It wasn't. They set up makeshift shelters on the shore. Then the rainy season hit. Then malaria. Then yellow fever. Then starvation. People began to die, one by one, then in groups. By the time a rescue ship from British Honduras finally found them, over 180 of the original 250 settlers were dead. The survivors returned to Britain barely alive, described by Scottish newspapers as looking ghastly, hollow-eyed, barely human. And MacGregor, he was in London, throwing parties. When the story broke in the newspapers, he fled to France. And there, with absolute unbelievable audacity, he ran the exact same scam again. On the French, he raised another £300,000, organized another voyage. Before the ship could sail, French authorities caught him, arrested him, and put him on trial. He was acquitted. His lawyers convinced the court that his associates were responsible, not him. He walked free. For the next 15 years, MacGregor continued running smaller versions of the Poyais scam across Europe. And somehow, even after public warnings in London newspapers, people still fell for it. He finally retired to Venezuela in 1838. The Venezuelan government, impressed by his military service, gave him a full military pension, restored his rank of general, and granted him citizenship. He died in 1845 at the age of 58. A free man, respected, honored, buried with full military honors. He never spent a single day in prison for the deaths of 180 people. By modern estimates, the total financial damage of the Poyais scam was equivalent to over $4 billion. But here is the part of this story that no historian can fully explain. When the survivors came back to Britain, broken, sick, having lost their children and life savings, some of them walked into a government building and signed official documents stating they did not blame Gregor MacGregor. They believed, even after everything, that he had been deceived too. That is the true genius of Gregor MacGregor. He didn't just fool people with a fake country. He made them love him so completely that even his victims defended him. There are thieves who take your money. And then there are men like MacGregor, who take your money, your home, your family, and somehow leave you grateful. So tell me, in a world full of con artists, fake promises, and too good to be true opportunities, how certain are you that the paradise someone is selling you right now actually exists?